Good afternoon and welcome to Leadership Talks. This is Season 1, Episode 9. Welcome today. This is a 20-minute Q&A we do every Thursday at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time with an industry leader. And today's leader is Zvika Ashani, who is the Chief Technology Officer for AgentVI, or Agent Video Intelligence. Welcome, Zvika.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, we appreciate it. So, the first question, if you've looked at any of our past recordings, our first question is always about you. If you can just tell us a little bit about, who Zvika is, talk about yourself. And what I'm interested in is, what's your personal leadership style, within your organization? So talk about your leadership abilities.
Okay. So I'm a CTO and co-founder of AgentVI. We founded the company in 2003, so we've been around for quite a while. And basically, when we started out, we were a very small outfit. So I was responsible for the technology, both the vision and leading the development. And then as we grew, and after a few years, I switched to the CTO role, which is, I would say, more forward-looking, looking at the next big thing that the company needs to do, understanding current technology, and basically seeing how we can implement it within our product and technology.
Okay, so
that's where I spend most of my time.
If you look back, over the last few years, I mean, clearly, video analytics has changed. The way we view things is different. There's a lot of talk about, AI or artificial intelligence. I guess what I'd like, if you could do, talk about, you're a provider of video analytics solutions. Explain what you do, and then next I'll get into the AI and the advancements of, as we used to call it, information intelligence. So just talk about, the video analytics solutions.
So AgentVI is a software company, and we basically develop software that can look at video, whether it's live video or recorded video, and extract meaningful, actionable data out of this. So this data can take several shapes and forms. I would say probably the most familiar way of using video analytics and surveillance is creating alerts in real time. Mm-hmm. So we can take the camera, we allow the user to define some rules. So for example, if it's a perimeter, maybe the user wants an alert when a person breaches that perimeter. In a city environment, you might want to get an alert if there's a crowd of people forming, or maybe a vehicle is stopping where it shouldn't. So there's a variety of rules that the user can apply. And then once he does that, our software basically analyzes the video in real time and then generates an alert if any of these rules is violated. We also provide investigative capabilities. So the same technology that allows us to understand the content in the video can also be used for doing intelligent search. So instead of just manually reviewing the video feed, you can input an intelligent query like, show me all of the white pickup trucks in a certain area in the city during a certain time period. And then we can literally, within seconds, find just those instances in your video database and show it to you.
So,
okay, so that's
security systems and cameras have always been a cost center. What is you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, I hear a beeping. So security systems and platforms has always been a cost center. Has that changed over the last, say, 5 years with the ability to have analytics to use intelligently and create different opportunities for whether it be an enterprise or even a retail store? Can you talk to that for a few minutes?
Sure. Yeah, I think for many companies and users, security is a cost and not a revenue generator. But looking at what we've been doing recently, we're actually on our new cloud-based platform. We are working with companies that are themselves providing security services. So these are central monitoring stations where they have customers that are connected to them and they monitor their customers' facility. And one of their problems and a big cost for them is false alarms. So anytime there's some sort of alarm from the site, if they need to send somebody over or call the police or even just handle that alarm, that's a cost for them. What we allow them to do, because we use analytics that is based on AI, which means that it's very, very accurate, we actually allow this type of customer to reduce their operational costs. They need less manpower because they have significantly less false alarms, and whatever manpower that they have can just focus on actual events. So that's an example of how we're allowing our customers, still within security, to reduce their own operational costs. With regards to retail, retail is kind of tricky for an analytics company, just because the companies within retail are working with very, very low margins, and their willingness to invest significantly in this type of technology has yet to be proven. So there are capabilities there, but at least at the moment for us, that's not a big market.
Okay. You walked right into something, is that our industry is typically slow to adopt new technology. Where do you see, analytics today in terms of its usage, and where is it going to be in 5 years?
So I think that we started out over 10 years ago, and when we started out, there was actually a big hype back then of video analytics being the next big thing, and there were quite a few analytics companies starting out. But in hindsight, we can say that the main problem was that the technology was not mature enough, and it really couldn't deliver on users' expectations. And those expectations, I mean, when you think about it, are quite simple. So, the uneducated user would say that if they look at a camera and if they clearly see that there's a person there or a vehicle, or on the other hand, that there's nothing of interest there, they expect the analytics software to perform like a human. But technology just wasn't there. And the big surge that we're seeing in the last, I would say, couple of years in AI capabilities is now trickling into video surveillance, and is actually enabling, finally, companies like us to actually deliver on this promise, which is the software monitoring your video feed is going to do at least as well as a person, and in many cases going to do better than a person. So that's something that I would say, looking back historically, was not possible, and now it finally is. So I think that right now we're at the point where we're actually getting the basic capabilities of analytics, which is, let's call it intrusion detection, perimeter protection, to work very, very well. Mm-hmm. And the next step is actually taking this into much more complex environments, such as a city. And that's actually where AgentVI is focusing a lot of its efforts on right now, is developing analytics capabilities that will be useful in the city environment. So in the city environment, the fact that your camera can actually recognize what is a person, what is a vehicle, what's a bicycle, motorcycle, and so forth, that's nice, but that's not really bringing much benefit, simply because there's, hundreds of thousands, sometimes there's millions of these types of objects walking around in the city, and just being able to recognize them is not good enough.
Right.
So actually, a lot of the effort being spent right now is to understand how we can take this data that's we can accurately extract from the video, and how we can do something useful with it. in a crowded environment such as a city.
Talk about cloud-based.
Yep.
Cloud-based services. I mean, this has to go hand in hand. So, how can video analytics benefit from the cloud?
Well, first of all, video analytics, like any software that moves from an on-premise installation to a cloud environment, at the end of the day, the main thing is reducing the cost of ownership for the user and also providing much better service and feature sets. Because our users no longer need to deal with installing servers and maintaining the software and installing patches and having redundant systems and all the headache that goes into maintaining operational 24/7 software in a data center, all they need to do is they need to hang their cameras, connect these cameras to our service, and basically just start enjoying and using all the features while we take care of actually maintaining the system in a fully redundant manner, 24/7, being able to directly support them on any problem. A cloud environment also allows a software vendor to do very fast product iterations. So every 3 weeks, we have a new version with new features coming online. And when we do that, all of our users instantly have the ability to enjoy these new features, whether they are improvements in accuracy or new types of rules or new types of insights that we can generate. And this mode of operation is really only possible in a hosted cloud-based environment.
If you look at, I heard this last week, and if you look at like an enterprise environment, I think that like 90% of the folks that are surveyed use cloud-based services like for CRM and things like that, but only 10% of them use it for their security. How can we change that? I mean, obviously, I think if we eliminate options, they'll have to go to the cloud-based services. But where do you see that today? I mean, is 10% really a true number? And how do we increase that?
Well, I don't know what the exact number is, but I can, you said it previously that our industry is slow to adopt.
Yeah.
So we are still seeing quite a few customers that, when we present our cloud-based offering, they say, they like the feature set, they like the price, but their IT won't allow them to connect to the cloud. And I think that in many cases, we as AgentVI are not going to be the ones to change their minds. It's simply bigger than us.
Yeah.
So we do give them the ability to take our cloud-based product and install it in their data center. So they can still enjoy the product and the feature set within their environment, but there is going to be an associated cost. So their cost of ownership is going to be significantly higher than if they're using a cloud-based service. And also they will need to take care of, maintaining it, upgrading it, and so forth. So we did realize that in our industry, we cannot offer just a cloud-based solution because there are still many who will not use it. And right now for us, it's about choice. So we give our customers a choice. If they absolutely need to have it in-house, they can do so at an added cost. And if they do have the flexibility, then they connect to the cloud service.
If we're really at 10%, where do you think we'll be in 5 years? Let's even say 3 years. Do you think there's enough out there to push the security function to the cloud?
I think there is. I mean, if we look at the big market that AgentVI is looking at right now, which is the safe city market,
yeah.
Most cities have realized that for many of the applications, they don't want to use their own data center. In most cases, it's much less secure than a data center by AWS or Amazon or Google. And there's redundancy issues, there's cost issues, And a lot of cities, their IT departments are starting to shift a lot of applications to the cloud. Granted that the video surveillance part in many places is going to be probably the last component to go. Again, just because of the security flavor. So, I mean, if we're at 10% now, I guess we're probably going to be moving closer to 30% in the next 2 to 3 years, but that's just a, an estimate.
Sure. All right. So, in our industry, and I've seen this in other industries in my lifetime, but technology seems to be changing almost daily. What new applications of video analytics do you see, becoming available in the next few years? I mean, what does your crystal ball say?
So, as I mentioned, we're already at the point where video analytics can do the basic stuff of looking at a video stream, detecting objects accurately and tracking them. The next stage is actually going to be automatically extracting useful information out of very large groups of cameras. So, for example, if you have a city and your city has 10,000 cameras deployed, the city is simply not going to have the manpower to go and set up these cameras and configure different rules for each camera and maintain these rules. What they actually need is they need a self-learning system. And what I mean by self-learning is a solution that will ingest all of this video, detect all these objects and track them, store them, and then start to build models for typical patterns in different parts of the city during different times of the day. And once that type of model is built, and it's going to be built completely automatically or autonomously, you can say, then this type of system can start creating an event stream completely on itself, where it's picking up specific instances that seem to be out of the norm. So, this can be a crowd of people forming somewhere where normally you don't have a crowd at that time, or it can even be a sequence of events from separate cameras being located in the same area, where each one of these events by its own may not be something special, but a group of events during a specific short time interval can indicate some sort of event that requires operator attention. So such a system should work autonomously and simply push high value information to the users. So I think that's something that we're going to see coming to the real world actually sooner rather than later.
So is it fair to say autonomy based on AI? Does that make sense?
Yes, that's going to be one of the big components.
Okay, all right. I guess one more thing, because we are out of time. We've got about 45 seconds to our 20-minute close. What would you like to leave our viewers and listeners? What would you like to leave them regarding AgentVI?
Well, having been around for a long time, I have perspective, and I can clearly say that users that have tried video analytics in the past and have been disappointed should go and try it out today. It's really at the point where it can deliver high value for minimal efforts, and going forward, this is just going to improve. So go and try it out. Perfect.
Zvika, thank you for your time. I do want to do a quick plug here. I do this after each one. But AgentVI, you're actually a sponsor of the Cloud Plus event, and I thank you for that. But Cloud Plus is November 28th and 29th in Austin, Texas. So visit ssncloudplus.com for any details. But next week, we talk to Rob Takashewski, or Rob Talk of Light Engine America. So join us for that. But for today, Zvika, thanks very much for your time. I appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you at Cloud Plus. Thanks, everybody.
My pleasure. Thank you. Bye-bye.